Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to continue our Freebone character, custom rigged character and cartoon animator as we were last time with the flamingo. But today we get to do our big elephant. Now the client did say it was okay to round these off because it's just not going to look as good if we keep them blocky. And so I just pulled this in and we're going to quickly round off things to where I think it'll look best. So first we'll start with this leg here. I'm just using the direct selector tool, A, Shift A, boom. Let's get this tail. All right, I'm happy with that. It's smoother. We don't have the jagged edges. Now what we need to do is we need to come in here and start labeling things. So I'm gonna come over, this is gonna be ear. This is gonna be the head, tusk, trunk, leg back, leg front, and the body, and the tail. Select everything, window, asset export. Bring this over, all of them, looks good. And if you didn't see my previous video, to specify, like I have the SVG and the PNG, you're going to go to this menu here and you're going to hit this gear icon and decide how you want each of these to be exported. Namely, because if cartoon animators taking SVGs, you're going to take SVG and do presentation, outlines, embed, layers, just like that. And then PNGs do type optimize, and this, it's not going to matter, but there we go. Save settings. I'm going to hit cancel and come back and do it here. So they should be there. You're going to add a scale, but that's how you set the settings. Export and put it in here. Elephant. Oh, I need to select a folder. All right. So I need to do elephant. Now we can export all those, but it's important to Control G, group all those, and then create one reference. So we know where things go. Reference based on the artwork provided by the client. And boom. Now that we have that, we're going to switch over to Cartoon Animator. Full screen this. Grab our elephant SVG. Let's go ahead and go to extra large icons. Those will load. There's my reference. Drag it in. It's a bone actor. And let's go ahead and it should automatically go to, oh, it did. I just need to close the packager. Okay, so I want to go to my bone editor, move the root position down to here. And this guy should be right there. Let's see, edit pose, and there we go. Okay, I notice the back leg is further down, so I'll fix that here when we do this, but just something to take note of. Bone editor. First things first, add the hip bone. Boom. Hip bones connect to the leg bone. The leg bones connect to the... Now, I'm pretty sure the elephant bends here. We're gonna go boom, boom, boom. I'll show you why. And then we're going to do another one, add the bone for the other leg behind. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, let's go to the tailbone. I'm just hitting escape. Apologies. I'm so used to doing this, just go fast. I need to turn off, go to the scene. Oh, excuse me. Where is it? Oh, I can't turn it off because this is the main layout. I'll do that later. I'm using the reference. I was going to turn off the body, but this is the reference image. Ahead of myself. So add bone. And let's go to the torso. To the other leg bone. Okay, and let's click on this. I hit escape, add bone, then I select the one I wanted, and then we're going to do the same thing here and add the other leg, offset, right? Escape, torso, add bone. We're going to go here, and this is for the neck, and then the head bone right there. And then from the head bone, escape, add bone. We're going to go, that's for this one. We're going to go ear, okay, and then back to the head. Come on, Cartoon Animator, head bone, add bone. We're going to come to here and do a trunk, okay? And then here we're going to add a bone, and we're going to do it from the head bone to the tusk. Click on the trunk, escape, click, add bone, boom. And if you're a little lost, go back to the flamingo. That's where we started. This is character number 2. Okay, so I've got to look at this and say, where else do I want this to bend? And I don't think this is going to bend a ton, and they can move up and down. So I think I'm okay there, but we do need the tailbone. Add. I'll just say it's about right there. And you can add other bones to add jiggles and different things, but we won't worry about that right now in this in this part of the process. So now that we've got all that set up, let's go in and name things. So I'm going to go to the scene and let's start with the tail, and it should highlight it over here, tailbone. And then let's go to the back. So let's do back thigh right. I'm going to copy that. Back shank right. Back foot right. Back foot right 1. And then back foot right nub. Okay. And then we do the same thing here. Back thigh left, back shank left. Sometimes I find it's just to retype it rather than copy paste. I always go back and forth. Back foot left. Now this I should copy because I'm going to just do the same thing here. -1. Same thing here. -nub. Okay, and this is a courtesy to the customer if you ever do this for somebody, so they can know what they're moving around with the bones. Okay, so here's going to be the hip, and we already did the tail, so we're good there. Let's go over to here and let's do the torso. And this one is the front thigh left, front shank left, front foot left. Copy that. Ooh, I forgot the T on that. Boom. It's important you do this all now. As we learned in the last one, I changed a bone afterwards and it messes up with your animations if you had saved any. So we'll just make sure we've done it all right here. And this is going to be front thigh right, front shank right, front foot right, bone 1, front foot right nub. Okay, moving on. Now we have the neck and the head. Actually, that's going to be neck 1. This is the head. This is the ear left. Let's add another bone. I forgot. So bone editor, add ear right. Okay. So back to here. This is the face, trunk -1, trunk -2, trunk -3, trunk -nub. And this is going to be the tusk. And this is going to be ear right. And file, save character, elephant. There we go. Okay, so now that we've got all the bones in place, we're going to go and do little sprites next. So let's start with the hip. I'm going to go to the sprite editor, add back. That's the flamingo. Where did it go? Did I put it? Oh, I put it in there. That's why. That's okay. Misplaced. All right. Body. Boom. Let's go put this in place. Okay. Tail. Just going to go along and put it where it belongs. I'm going to need to move that bone. I'll do it while I'm here. Bone editor. Boom. Perfect. While we're here, we might as well finish it out. Okay, and I just kind of follow the curve when I do tailbones and stuff like that. Tail, and that's copy paste 1, 2, 3, nub. Okay, moving on. Sprite editor. Now let's go click on the back thigh left. It's going to be you. Okay, and then let's go to the back thigh right. Same one. And let's just put it right there. Now, I did say these were further down, so we'll move these down. We'll fix that. And then with layering, we'll do that later, but you just click on layer and move it behind. Okay. Front thigh left, add leg front. I should have named things a little bit better, but that's okay. I'm going to move this down to match the other one, then we'll move the bones. So I'm going to come over to the bone editor. I'm going to move it down to about here and move you to here. Okay, we'll have to do the same thing to this to match it, stay consistent. Okay, and then let's go back to the sprite editor and click on this guy and make sure it's matching just down further. So right about, I'm happy with that. And now let's go to the other side, add the same leg front, move it into its position. Okay, let's go ahead and put that behind the hip. Make sure the tail is behind the hip. Okay, moving on. Now we need the head. So we're going to add the head, which is this guy. And then we want I can come back to the scene and click on this ear if I can't select it there. Let's add the ear. Perfect. And then let's go to the ear right, add that one. And it's going to go on the layer manager way back behind the head. Okay, and then second to last but not least, the trunk. Okay, and then the tusk. And I'll fix the layering next, tusk. And just like that, that's all in place. Layering behind the trunk, but we want the trunk behind the head and that behind the trunk. The left ear should be on top of that, which it is. Cool. So first things first, file save. Actually, before we save it, I guess I could have just saved it. Let's go take away the reference image, which is on the root bone right here. Delete, gone. And now I can save elephant. Okay, let's do a quick preview and just see how we did. The neck works. The head, yeah. The ear, I'll fix with some spring bones in a minute. Okay, that ear needs to go behind. So that's what we just learned. I didn't do that right. So this needs to go behind there. And I think that's it on that side. Now the tusk, I guess we could do 2 tusks. I'm trying to think how that might look. One on each side. That actually might look pretty cool. And then you can just turn it off and on. So let's create another bone. Turn off edit pose, bone editor, add a bone, tusk 2. And let's go to the scene. Let's call this tusk right and tusk left. Okay, and then on tusk right, let's go to the editor and add the tusk for tusk. Let's see, we have tusk left. I want tusk right. There we go. And then what we could do, let's do that. Let's go back to the layer editor, move this down here and this up here. And now we have the tusks and the trunk. I will add bones to the tusk just because we can, and it might become beneficial at some point, but let's just finish it out. Tusk, add bone, click, 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 escape. Let's go name those. So tusk right, hyphen copy, paste 1, paste 2, paste nub, and then let's do tusk left, copy, paste, hyphen copy, paste 1, 2, and nub. Okay, and you're just building this. I mean, it's kind of satisfying, you know, just building this as you go along and seeing what it feels like and looks like. Okay, let's go back to preview mode and let's play the legs here. Oh yeah, that elephant is walking. He's a walking elephant. So let's edit the end effectors so that we have kinematics so it can stick to the ground. I like that. Okay, let's come in here, add some bones to the ears to make them kind of floppy. Now there's different ways you can do the bones. I could do it this way, and then let's do the same thing over here, but let's go turn off everything else so we can see what we're looking at. Head and ear left. Now I can see what we're looking at here. So let's click here, add a bone, click, 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 click. Okay, and let's go see, let's turn those back on. Okay, turn those back on. Now, let's go to the spring editor and let's add, I'm not thinking anything else is gonna bounce. I'm gonna just put it in the default, add. I'm gonna put that one in the default, add, minimize, preview. I always like to shake the hip. That's too bouncy. And you'll notice the reason I did this example is when you go like this rather than straight down, you get different effects, right? So let's do stiff and let's translate. What can I do? I'm just curious. Anyways, you can play around with this and just kind of see what you think looks best, but that's too wiggly. So let's turn down the bounciness. I can't remember if it's turning that down. Yeah, I don't like that. It's got to be quicker. Is it the speed? Nope. All right, no, that's better. And then for the bounciness, let's turn off this translate and let's do clockwise and counterclockwise. Let's try 3 and 3. I'm not sure it'll make a big difference. I'm okay with that, and you can move the ears around. I like that. It's a little too stretchy still for me, but it's okay. I'm gonna give it a little anti-gravity here. Oops, wrong way. So that it doesn't go as far. Okay, cool. I'm okay with that. But now that we've done that, we need to come in and rename those to ear right, and then let's just do hyphen copy paste 1, 2, 3, 4 nub. Let's do the same thing on the ear left right here. Copy paste hyphen copy paste 1, 2, and you can see it's about efficiency. As an amateur programmer, maybe that helps me a bit, and this is the OCD to treat it like a program, because that's what it is. You're just putting art in it, and it can be hard sometimes to wrap your mind around it if you don't come from that world of programming and such. Layering, I'm looking at the head. I don't want the head to go in front of the front thigh left, and so I've got to find the head, and I want to put the head, well, let's just move the thigh. Front left thigh is going to go in front of all of that except for the ear. So now when I go preview and I want to, do this, then the ear is there. And you can always, edit this and adjust it in with the 2D key editor. Okay, so end effectors are there. Great. So let's save this character. Elephant. Yes. Save the object profile. Elephant. Okay. And for color grouping, I'm not too concerned. I'll just group them by sprites because it's just 2 colors. And with that, you can just come in and organize all of these colors such that you can change the outlines and the main colors. So we'll just do that. We're going to create 2. We're going to call this color and we're going to call this outlines. And we're going to leave this in color, outlines. And I should be able to delete those. Yes, outlines, color. And it's just a matter of going through and just moving everything. I'll just do it like this. Not a ton on these. Some of these characters I do have so many colors. So when you're designing, you'll better appreciate maybe animation studios and the time it takes when you have complex characters, and why animation studios are using not so complex characters because of the time. So the tusk needs its own. Okay, so let's leave this here. I'll call this tusks. Tusk white. We'll just leave that. We're going to delete all of you. Okay. And let's come in here and get the rest. Boom, 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 boom. Delete. Okay. Delete. Okay. So now we should be able to click color. There's all the color. Outlines. There's all the outlines. And tusks. White. Okay. I'm going to save this. Elephant. Make sure it's in the right folder. Okay. Save. And then you can always save the object profile to have it all. Great. So now I'm going to go back here, and the first step, because we've done all that work, is to put it in our custom folder. So I'm going to come over here and put it in Freebone, and we're going to highlight it, zoom in where we want the thumbnail to be captured, hit save, elephant. Okay. Now let's do a quick animation to demonstrate that this elephant's moving right, and if we need to tweak anything. So let's get the motion 2D key editor. Now it says to get a picture, we need to go back to composer mode, which is fine. And we need to get a thumbnail and capture. Boom, there it is. Cool. Now let's save this character in case we need to reload him. Content, let's overwrite him here. Very good. And go back. So now when I click on the 2D motion key editor, it should have the photo like this. Very good. And let's click this bone. Let's bring this down to 20. Very good. Let's turn on the end effectors and let's just play around for a minute. Oh yeah. Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal. That works. Cool. What we need to do though is fix the tail. So let's go back and click on the tail. You can always undo this by removing, but I'm going to make the tail its own folder. Double click tail, assign to group. And you never assign the main bone because it'll throw things off and doesn't work. They've made it to where you assign the sub bones. And now if we do preview, I like that because the tail bone is supposed to be, more wiggly. Let's go back to the bone editor, turn on show wireframe, affect all layers, turn up our density, and save object profile. Content, overwrite. Okay, make sure that this is still there. That looks good. Okay, so now I should, in theory, let's delete this, be able to just drag this over and check that it did take. Yep, so there's our elephant. Let's go to center and smooth. And now if I want to animate, we're going to do 2D key editor. Make sure I have transform up, and you can turn spring on and off. I don't need it for this. And let's turn on the end effectors so we have kinematics working with us. Okay. And first, let's just have the elephant do a little thing. So first, on frame 1, select full body, set key. And then I like to come to frame 150, full body, set key. All right, and now let's just go out to frame 10, body part. Let's take the hip, and then let's go grab the head. Okay. And we could also do it with the trunk, but I don't want to because I want the trunk to go straight up. So let's do that. Copy, paste, and we're gonna need to do the same thing with the hip. I'm just copying these keyframes. And if you want a full animation on this, look at my other tutorial videos. This is just going through and setting this guy up. All right, and now let's have him go straight up. So we're gonna reset, and we're gonna turn on stretch bone, and we're gonna go with the torso. Let's see. I'm okay with that. Let's see how it looks. Let's do the head and the trunk. I could grab the end of the trunk, but I'm just deciding to do this way. Let's see how that is. All right, so the problem we have is here the trunk is not, and it's because we've set this end one here and we've set this one here. So I should have put a keyframe right when I was there. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to undo all that. Now right here, if we go back, what we did with the torso, you see here, is we went down and then the torso went up. So we did the same thing on the torso and the head. So let me show you a better practice. I'm glad I did that example because it reminds us, you know, how to animate this. So when he comes down here, if we want him to stay here, we need to set a keyframe. And so on this, I'm just going to double click on the torso. And same thing with the hip. Otherwise, if we move it later, the hip's fine. And then it's going to go up there. If we move it later, it does those weird things. So it's setting keyframes before keyframes to make sure things are animating properly. And so by the time we come down and then we want the head to be up here, and we're just going to move this up a little bit. And I want to move the torso forward slightly. And then I'll just take the end of the trunk and see if we can't do this. And I did it again. I forgot to put the trunk. So no, it's actually not bad, but I forgot to put the keyframe of the trunk down here so that it goes. There you go. And then let's have him stay up there for a minute. So we're going to copy, paste. We're going to go to the head. We're going to copy, paste. Go to the torso, copy, paste, and then come down. So reset. Now let's just see what that looks like. And we'll cut the frame here, rewind, play. I want him to hold it longer instead of coming down. So we need to go to the head. Why is his head coming down? Still a little too fast. So let's go like this and move this here. And then we need to look at the trunk, see what it's doing. So let's copy its position here, paste. Okay, it's not liking that, so I'm gonna go like this. Just leave it up there and then have it come down. Love it. Okay, so there's one action. Now, how do we take this action and make it something that we can just use automatically? We hit collect clip, click and drag, right click, add to action menu. And we're gonna call this trumpet, okay? Now I need to overwrite this guy here. Zoom in, get a nice thumbnail, overwrite, okay. And the reason I had to overwrite it is we wouldn't have been able to save that action. So I can put them in any time. Let's get a better thumbnail. There we go. Right click action. So right now there's nothing here. Play, nothing. So if I go right click action, trumpet. There we go. Love it. And notice I didn't even look at the ear. Yeah, the ear does its thing. Tail kind of. So I mean, that's how you do it. You play around. You can do different poses. You can pose the elephant, put it in the right pose and save the pose as a certain pose. So let's just do that for fun. One more here. So let's go ahead and delete this guy, bring him in a new center line, and this time let's do a pose. Let's do this. So I've decided to come in. We're going to move some bones around. I'm not liking where it's placing things. So I'm going to go to the bone editor and we're just going to take this foot, and the foot realistically only goes to there. And let's see if that helps us with the bones and the stretches and different things. I'm not going to change the bone structure. I'm just going to move it a bit. And then I'm going to put this just slightly up above that bend right there. And then bring this back down. And that looks much better. So we'll do the same. Let's go ahead and turn off the left thigh. Let's do the same thing for this. I did want to see the bones, but I think we'll be able to eyeball it. Let's bring it up just slightly. Let's go look at the other one. That's looking good. And then here, here, here. Let's go take a look at both of those. Yeah, I'm happier with that. Let's see if that helps any. Let's do the same with the back. Bring this up a bit. Move. Let's try that. Bring this up a bit. Move. Make sure our end effectors are in place. They are. Save character. Instead of just overwriting, I'm going to call this V2 whenever I make changes like this. So I can go back if I don't like it. Go back to here. And let's come into our content here and zoom in just a bit and do save as a font V2. And you'll find yourself doing this, as you play around and try to figure out different animations and things with these characters. So what I'm going to do now that I've done that, I'm going to go back. I'm going to remove object animation. I'm going to double check our trumpet. That's nice. That works. So I'm not worried about that. We're going to start over. Before I do, I'm going to save, quit it, and then come back into it because I don't like when Cartoon Animator starts to act up and I can't copy, paste, edit, remove keys, different things like that. It doesn't happen a ton, but when it does, I've found you just kind of reload it and it solves a lot of that. So let's go to our Content Manager, Custom, Actor, Freebone, Clients, and bring in our version 2. Put it in the center, smooth motion. And now let's go ahead and try our animation. Let's open up our animation panel here. Go to our 2D motion key editor, which we've done. And let's go ahead and lock all the feet. Set it key for the full body. Come to number 15 and do something like that. I like that better than it was. Now we do have the feet doing this, but I'm okay with that. I like what it's doing. And then from here, it's going to be a little pause. Maybe this one comes down and then it's up. And so here we need to unlock. And then from here, we're going to come up. Oh, go back. We didn't want to unlock these ones. That was a boo-boo on my part. Nope. Just play around with this. Make sure things are as expected. So let's just see. However, let's see. What I do want to do, I probably should keep them locked so it looks like he's jumping off the ground. And again, I'm not using any reference or anything on this. I'm just eyeballing it just for perspective's sake. But I typically use a reference so things are more accurate. But this, it's not hugely important. Let's see. See that little jump there where it does that. Why is it doing that? So I want to see, is it this? Is that why it's doing that? So he should push off. So that does need to come down and these need to be turned off. But why is it doing that jump? It's probably because of this here. So I'm going to go delete and delete. So it's right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this back, see if that fixes it. Just come up here. Let's turn on stretch bone. I like using stretch bone. Stuff like this. Let's look at the head. So the head, by the time it comes to this point, it's a little too much movement. So let's undo and use the neck instead. See if that helps us. That's better. So it's going to be boom, and then we're going to set a key here. This. That is why I have in my tutorials I talk about turning off full body because it's going to mess you up. It's been on the whole time, but we'll see if we can salvage it. When you have the full body on, it causes problems. Let's just put it that way. We'll just go like this, and then it's going to be boom. We'll do that. Can we delete that and put that there? Why is it this? It's probably because I did full body. Yep, that's why. Paste. Yeah, because when I did full body, I had things all over the place, and so that's where it tends to. Let's see. So it's up, does its thing, and then it starts to probably shift a little bit back. So it's like, and then it's going to come down. So we're going to hit reset, full body reset. So let's just see what that does. And again, you'll want to go through this, perfect the motion to where it's acceptable to you. Boom, and we're going to come bounce down a bit. So here we need to lock the front again. And again, doing this, it'll teach you, what you want to do with your characters and what's going to be easier and maybe not so easy to animate depending on the movability and things. But I mean, this is definitely an elephant. Boom. Boom. I like the head to stay up a little bit more. So let's go to is it the neck that we moved? So the neck, copy, paste. It was the neck. Okay. So he comes back down, and then the head, when he hits, that neck needs to also come down. And we'll just for fun do this. Reset. Okay. And even that's just a little too long there. So I'm going to come in here, shorten it. We'll say 100 to 115. And then we just got to go to each part. 100 to 150 to 110 is what it was. And do the same thing. Neck, 100 to 110. Okay, let's see how that looks. Let's go ahead and put 125. Cut it. Repeat. Play. Still a little slow on that landing. But again, we could speed this up. And we could use our transition curves as well. But I think you understand how this works. And so we're going to go and look at all of our transforms. That's the neck. Let's look at this one. That's the hip. Accelerate. Boom. And now we want the torso. Transition curve. Accelerate. Boom. Let's see how that looks. Up and boom. That's better. Up. Boom. Cool. I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to take the collect clip again. First and last. And right click, add action menu. We're going to call this jump trumpet or trumpet up. Okay. And we're going to come in here and let's just do this and click this guy and overwrite. Okay. And now we have, if I delete him, drag him in, center, smooth. Let's make sure we're at the very beginning frame. Remove object animation. Let's center them. I always forget to do that. Zoom in and out. And now if I right click action menu, first we'll do a trumpet. Okay, I want it to be a little faster, so I'm going to grab my motion key editor or my motion track here and just shrink it by a little bit, a little faster. Good. And now let's add our second motion. Right click action menu and then trump it up. Oh, I ended the scene. I got to drag this out. Boom, and let's hit play. Awesome. And then if I wanted to record this or do snapshots, I could zoom out and let's just do a normal one. Render image. PNG current frame 4K. PNG is transparent. That's what I want. Come back. Sure, let's do it here. Elephant 1. And now let's have this elephant guy doing this. Let's have him up here. Let's zoom out and export Elephant 2. Okay, and now we have him jumping and doing his thing. So that gives us images to work with for like a thumbnail or whatever you're doing. If we wanted to record a transparent video, just be render, video, movie, transparent, and then choose your size, right? And you'll notice again, if you're familiar with Cartoon Animator, you can skip this part, but this blue box is where it's going to record, or the camera is where it's going to record here, right? But you got to be careful moving the camera around, because if I go into the projects portion of the timeline, you can go to the camera and you can actually set cameras, which is really powerful. So just be aware, and I've got other tutorials on that, of your camera and where your scene's at and where you're posed. All right, well, thank you for joining us. If you have any comments, please leave them below. Please do like and subscribe and join us in the next one. Thanks.